Mastering the basic fundamentals of life and success is not complicated, but that does not mean it is easy. The truth is, most people overcomplicate success. They look for shortcuts. They try to figure out hacks, tricks, and quick fixes to get ahead. But that is why most people stay stuck. Because success is not about doing complicated things. It is about mastering the fundamentals, the simple, foundational principles that have always worked and will always work when it comes to building a successful life. And that is why so few people truly succeed. Not because they are not talented, not because they are not capable, but because they overlook the basics. They chase complexity while ignoring the simple truths that create real results. Success is built on simple habits, simple disciplines, simple decisions, repeated consistently over time. But the problem is, most people are not willing to stay consistent. They work hard for a few weeks or months, but when things get difficult, they stop. When the results do not come fast enough, they quit. When setbacks show up, they look for another strategy. But that is why they fail. Because success is not about intensity. It is about consistency. It is about doing the right things over and over again, even when you are not seeing immediate results. The fundamentals are not glamorous. They are not exciting. They are not complicated, but they work. And the people who win at the highest level are not the ones doing the most complicated things. They are the ones who have mastered the basics. They have mastered their mindset. They have mastered their habits. They have mastered their focus, their discipline, their work ethic. They understand that success is not about luck. It is about building a foundation that cannot be shaken. And that foundation is built on the fundamentals. Most people know what they need to do. They just do not do it. They know they need to wake up earlier, but they keep hitting snooze. They know they need to be more disciplined with their time, but they waste hours distracting themselves. They know they need to take care of their health, but they choose comfort over effort. The problem is not that they lack knowledge. The problem is that they lack execution. And that is why they fail, because knowing what to do is not enough. You have to actually do it. You have to stay consistent. You have to stay disciplined. You have to execute the fundamentals every single day, even when it is uncomfortable, even when you do not feel like it, even when nothing seems to be working yet. And this is where most people get stuck. They work hard for a while, but when the results are not showing up fast enough, they stop. They convince themselves that maybe they need a new strategy. Maybe they need to change their approach. Maybe they need to find a new method. But the truth is, they just need to stay consistent. They need to keep doing the work. They need to keep executing the fundamentals, even when it feels like nothing is happening, because the results always come last. The work comes first. The discipline comes first. The consistency comes first. And if you are not willing to stay consistent when the results are not showing up yet, you will never win. The fundamentals are simple, but they are not easy. Waking up early is simple, but it is not easy. Staying disciplined with your diet and exercise is simple, but it is not easy. Staying focused when distractions are everywhere is simple, but it is not easy. And that is why so few people succeed. Not because the fundamentals are complicated, but because they are hard. They require discipline. They require consistency. They require sacrifice. And most people are not willing to pay that price. But the people who win, they are not doing anything magical. They are not using secret strategies. They are not working with hidden formulas. They have simply mastered the basics. They wake up early. They stick to their routines. They stay focused. They work hard. They stay consistent. They execute the same simple habits over and over again until success becomes inevitable. They understand that the fundamentals are not glamorous. but they're effective. And that's why they win. Not because they are the smartest, not because they are the most talented, but because they have built a foundation so strong that nothing can break it. This means you need to stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for the easy way. Stop searching for quick results. Success does not happen overnight. It happens through consistent execution of simple habits. It happens through discipline. It happens through focus. And if you are not willing to master the basics, if you are not willing to stay consistent when it feels boring, when it feels difficult, when it feels repetitive, you will never reach your full potential. The question is not whether you are capable of success. The question is whether you are willing to stay disciplined long enough to reach it. Most people are not. They give up too soon. They quit when it gets hard. They abandon the process when the results are not coming fast enough. But you are different. You understand that the fundamentals are the key. You understand that if you stay consistent, if you stay focused, if you stay disciplined, success becomes inevitable. Not because you are lucky, not because you are talented, but because you were willing to master the basics when most people were chasing complexity. Mastering the fundamentals of life and success begins with understanding one critical truth. Success is not complicated, but it is hard. Most people fail, not because they are not capable, but because they are distracted. They are chasing quick results instead of focusing on building a solid foundation. They are constantly looking for the next big thing, the next opportunity, the next hack, while ignoring the simple foundational habits that create real progress. And that is why they stay stuck. Because success is not about doing more. It is about doing the right things consistently, over time. Most people live their lives reacting to the world around them. They wake up every day without a plan. They let their environment dictate their actions. They waste time on distractions. They allow other people's demands to pull them off track. And then they wonder why they are not getting anywhere. But the truth is, if you are not in control of your time, you are not in control of your life. If you do not have a clear plan for how you are spending your day, you are handing over control to the world around you. And that is why most people are stuck, because they are not intentional with how they spend their time. The most successful people in the world operate with intention. They know exactly how they are spending their time. They know what matters and what does not. They have a clear plan for their day, their week, their month. They do not allow distractions to pull them off course. They are disciplined about where they focus their energy. And because of that, they make consistent progress, while everyone else is stuck reacting to life. Success is not about doing more. It is about being more focused. It is about knowing exactly what moves the needle, and then putting all of your energy into those things. This means you need to simplify your life. Most people are overwhelmed because they are doing too much. They are saying yes to too many things. They are filling their day with meaningless tasks. They are chasing too many goals at once. And because of that, they are making zero real progress. Success is not about doing everything. It is about doing the right things. It is about stripping away the distractions. It is about eliminating the noise. It is about cutting down to the essential habits and routines that create real results. And that requires discipline. That requires saying no sometimes. That requires focusing on less so you can accomplish more. Most people are not willing to do that. They feel like they need to be busy to feel productive. They fill their schedule with low-value tasks. They mistake activity for progress. But the people who win, they're ruthless with their time. They know that success is not about how much you do, It is about how effectively you execute. It is about focusing on the few key things that actually matter, and then executing those things with precision, consistency, and discipline. That is why they win. Not because they are doing more, but because they are doing what matters most. The first fundamental of life and success is time management, because time is the most valuable resource you have. You cannot make more of it. You cannot get it back once it is gone. And if you are wasting your time on distractions, if you are spending your days reacting instead of creating, you will never reach your full potential. The people who succeed at the highest level are obsessed with how they use their time. They wake up early. They plan their day with intention. They eliminate distractions. They stay focused on the work that matters. And because of that, they create momentum while everyone else stays stuck. This means you need to take control of your time. You need to create a plan for your day, every single day. You need to know exactly what you are working on and why. You need to set priorities. You need to eliminate distractions. And you need to execute with focus and intensity. Most people waste hours every day without even realizing it. They get lost in social media. They get distracted by meaningless conversations. They allow small setbacks to derail their focus. And then they wonder why they are not making progress. But the truth is, if you are not managing your time, you are not managing your life. Once you take control of your time, you need to focus on the second fundamental, mastering your habits. Your habits are the foundation of your success. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Most people focus too much on setting big goals. They want to lose weight. They want to make more money. They want to build a successful business. But setting a goal is not enough, because goals do not create results. Habits do. Your success is not determined by what you want. It is determined by what you do every single day. Most people have inconsistent habits. They work hard for a while, but then they stop. They eat clean for a week, but then they go back to junk food. They wake up early for a few days, but then they hit snooze. That is why they fail, because they are not consistent. Success is not about intensity. It is about consistency. It is about showing up every single day and executing your habits, even when you do not feel like it, even when the results are not showing up yet, even when you are tired, discouraged, and frustrated. That is what separates those who win from those who fail. The winners are not the ones who work hard once in a while. They are the ones who work hard every day. Your habits create your identity. If you want to become successful, you need to build the habits of a successful person. Successful people have habits that create momentum. They wake up early. They read. They work out. They execute their plan with precision. They stay disciplined with their time. They avoid distractions. They control their focus. They operate with a sense of urgency. And they do those things consistently, not for a week, not for a month, but for years. Success is not built in a day. It is built through consistent execution of small, simple habits over time. The problem is, most people want to skip this part. They want the results without the work. They want the success without the discipline. They want the rewards without the sacrifice. But that is not how it works. The people who win are the ones who are willing to master the basics. They are the ones who are willing to build strong habits and stick to them, even when it gets hard, even when they do not feel like it, even when the results are not showing up yet. That is why they win, because they have built a foundation so strong that nothing can break it. This is why most people fail, because they think that success is about big decisions. But success is not about big decisions. It is about the small decisions you make every single day. It is about the habits you execute every single day. It is about waking up early when you want to sleep in. It is about staying disciplined with your workout when you feel tired. It is about sticking to your plan when distractions show up. That is the difference. The people who win have mastered the basics. They have mastered the fundamentals. And that is why they succeed, not because they are lucky, not because they are gifted, but because they have built a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. The next fundamental you need to master is your mindset. Most people think that success is about strategy. They think that if they can just figure out the right plan, if they can just get the right opportunity, if they can just meet the right person, they will succeed. But that is not how it works. Success is not about strategy. It is about mindset. Because the truth is, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if your mindset is weak, you will fail. You will hesitate. You will doubt yourself. You will let fear and insecurity stop you. And that is why most people never reach their full potential. Not because they do not have the right plan, but because they do not have the right mindset. Your mind will either be your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. If you do not control your mind, it will control you. If you do not master your thoughts will master you. Most people are controlled by fear, doubt, and insecurity. They hesitate because they are afraid of failure. They hold back because they are afraid of judgment. They lower their goals because they are afraid of disappointment. And because of that, they stay stuck. Not because they are not capable, but because they are letting fear dictate their decisions. The most successful people in the world have mastered their minds. They have trained themselves to think differently. They have learned how to push through fear and doubt. They have learned how to take action, even when they are scared. And because of that, they win. Not because they are fearless, but because they have learned how to act despite fear. Fear is not the enemy. Inaction is. Fear is a normal part of growth. But most people allow fear to stop them. They allow fear to control their decisions. They wait until they feel confident before they take action. But that is why they fail, because confidence does not come first. Action comes first. Confidence comes from taking action even when you are scared. Most people think that successful people are naturally confident, but they are not. They have just trained themselves to take action even when they are scared. They have learned how to execute even when they are filled with doubt. They have built the habit of doing the hard thing even when they do not feel ready. That is why they win. Not because they are fearless, but because they have built the muscle of courage through repeated action. Most people sit around waiting to feel confident, but confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build through action. This means you need to stop overthinking. Most people get stuck because they think too much. They try to figure out every possible outcome before they take action. They analyze every scenario. They try to predict the future. And when they do this, they create hesitation. They create doubt. They create fear. But the truth is, you will never have all the answers before you start. You will never feel completely ready. The path will not be clear until you start walking it. The people who win are the ones who are willing to move forward without certainty. They are the ones who take action even when they are unsure. They are the ones who trust the process enough to figure it out as they go. Most people think that successful people have everything figured out before they start, but they do not. They just have the courage to start before they are ready. They have the courage to act even when they are filled with doubt. They have the courage to take the next step, even when they cannot see the whole path. And that is why they win. Because they are not waiting for clarity. They are creating clarity through action. The path becomes clear after you start moving. The answers reveal themselves after you take action. The confidence comes after you push through the fear. But most people never reach that point because they are too busy overthinking. They are too busy hesitating. They are too busy waiting to feel ready. And that is why they stay stuck. This means you need to stop waiting for the perfect plan. Most people waste time trying to create the perfect strategy. They want to know exactly how everything is going to work before they take the first step. But that is not how success works. The people who win are the ones who start without knowing all the answers. They understand that progress comes through action, not through planning. Most people sit around planning, thinking, and waiting, while the people who win are out there taking action. And that is why they succeed. Not because they had the perfect plan, but because they started moving when most people were hesitating. Mastering your mindset means you need to control your thoughts. Most people are controlled by negative thinking. They focus on what could go wrong. They focus on their weaknesses. They focus on their doubts. And because of that, they sabotage themselves before they even begin. But the people who win, they have learned how to control their focus. They have trained their minds to focus on what they can do, not what they cannot. They focus on the opportunity, not the obstacle. They focus on the solution, not the problem. And because of that, they create momentum where other people create excuses. This means you need to eliminate negative self-talk. Most people talk themselves out of success before they even begin. They tell themselves they are not ready. They tell themselves they are not good enough. They tell themselves they do not have what it takes. And because they keep repeating those thoughts, they start to believe them. But the people who win, they have trained themselves to talk differently. They tell themselves they're capable. They tell themselves they are ready. They tell themselves they have everything they need to succeed. And because they have conditioned their minds to focus on strength instead of weakness, they create strength. They build confidence. They create momentum. You need to understand that your thoughts create your reality. If you believe you are capable, you will take action. If you believe you are ready, you will move forward. If you believe success is possible, you will push through resistance. But if you believe you are not ready, you will hesitate. If you believe you are not capable, you will stop trying. If you believe success is out of reach, you will sabotage yourself before you even begin. The most successful people in the world have trained their minds to focus on strength, confidence, and capability. They have trained themselves to focus on progress, not perfection. They have trained themselves to focus on what they can do, not what they cannot. And because of that, they win. Mastering your mindset means you need to stop seeking validation. Most people are controlled by the opinions of others. They make decisions based on what other people will think. They hold back because they are afraid of being judged. They lower their goals because they do not want to stand out. But the truth is, success requires you to stop seeking approval. The people who win are not focused on being liked. They are focused on winning. They are not controlled by other people's opinions. They are controlled by their vision. And that is why they succeed, because they are not trying to fit in. They are trying to stand out. Most people will never reach their full potential because they care too much about what other people think. They are afraid of looking foolish. They are afraid of standing out. They are afraid of being judged. But the people who win, they're willing to be misunderstood. They're willing to be criticized. They're willing to be judged because they understand that success requires you to be different. It requires you to stop trying to fit in. It requires you to have the courage to stand alone when necessary. And that is why they win. Not because they are fearless, but because they have learned how to act despite fear. The next fundamental you need to master is discipline. Most people are motivated when they start something new. They feel excited. They feel energized. They feel inspired. But that feeling does not last. Motivation fades. Excitement wears off. Inspiration disappears. And that is where most people fail. They start strong, but as soon as the motivation fades, they stop working. They start looking for shortcuts. They start seeking comfort. They allow their feelings to dictate their work ethic. And because of that, they never reach their full potential. Because success is not about how you feel. It is about what you do. And that is why discipline matters more than motivation. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like it. It is the ability to push yourself to execute your plan, even when you are tired, frustrated, and discouraged. It is the ability to stay consistent with your habits, even when you are not seeing immediate results. And this is why most people fail, because they allow their feelings to control their actions. They work hard when they feel motivated, but they slow down when they feel discouraged. They execute their plan when they feel confident, but they hesitate when they feel insecure. But the people who win, they are not controlled by their feelings. They are controlled by their standards. They do the work, whether they feel like it or not. This means you need to stop relying on motivation. Most people are addicted to motivation. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until they are in the mood to work. But the truth is, if you are waiting to feel ready, you will never succeed because motivation is temporary. It is unreliable. Some days you will feel energized. Some days you will feel exhausted. Some days you will feel confident. Some days you will feel insecure. But the people who win are the ones who work through all of it. They execute their plan even when they are not feeling their best, because they understand that success is not about feelings, it is about standards. Discipline means you stop negotiating with yourself. Most people lose the battle before the day even begins. They wake up and start negotiating with themselves. Should I work out today or should I skip it? Should I work on my business today or should I relax? Should I push myself today or should I take it easy? And the moment you give yourself an option, you create an excuse. The people who win are the ones who stop giving themselves options. They wake up and execute the plan, no matter what. They train themselves to follow through, not because they feel like it, but because that is the standard they have set for themselves. This means you need to create non-negotiable standards for your life. Most people have flexible standards. They work hard when they feel like it, but they relax when they are tired. They follow through when they are motivated, but they back off when things get difficult. But the people who win are the ones who hold themselves to a higher standard. They have non-negotiable habits. They do not skip workouts. They do not miss deadlines. They do not make excuses. And because they hold themselves to a higher standard, they create momentum where other people create inconsistency. This means you need to master consistency. Most people are inconsistent. They work hard for a while, but then they stop. They stick to their plan for a few weeks, but then they fall off track. They push hard when they feel inspired, but they slow down when things get hard. And that is why they fail. Because success is not about how hard you work once in a while. It is about how consistent you are over time. The people who win are not the ones who work hard for a short burst. They are the ones who show up every day and execute their plan with precision. They are the ones who keep going, even when it feels boring, even when it feels repetitive, even when the results are not showing up yet. Most people think that successful people are special. They think that successful people have something they do not. But the truth is, successful people have just mastered consistency. They have learned how to show up and do the work day after day, week after week, year after year, without needing motivation, without needing recognition, without needing immediate results. And because of that, they create unstoppable momentum. They build a foundation so strong that success becomes inevitable. Not because they are lucky, but because they are consistent. Consistency is not exciting, but it works. Waking up early is not exciting. Sticking to your workout plan is not exciting. Showing up and doing the work day after day is not exciting, but that is what creates results. Most people are chasing excitement. They want to feel motivated. They want to feel inspired. They want success to feel easy. But the people who win are the ones who have learned how to embrace the boredom of consistency. They are the ones who have learned how to stick to the plan even when it feels repetitive. They are the ones who have mastered the art of doing the simple things over and over again until success becomes inevitable. This means you need to stop allowing setbacks to break your momentum. Most people lose their consistency because they allow one bad day to ruin their progress. They miss one workout and they stop working out altogether. They have one bad day of eating and they fall off track for a week. They face one setback in their business and they give up entirely. But the people who win are the ones who know how to recover quickly. They understand that setbacks are part of the process. They do not let one mistake become a pattern. They do not let one bad day turn into a bad week. They get back on track immediately. And because of that, they maintain momentum while everyone else is starting and stopping. Most people waste time feeling sorry for themselves when things go wrong. They complain. They blame other people. They get discouraged. But the people who win are the ones who know how to shift their focus back to action. They do not dwell on mistakes. They correct them. They do not allow failure to slow them down. They adjust and keep going. They are not emotionally attached to outcomes. They are focused on execution. And because of that, they stay locked in while everyone else is caught up in their emotions. Discipline means you stop making excuses. Most people have an excuse for why they are not succeeding. They blame their schedule. They blame their environment. They blame other people. But the truth is, your excuses are not real. Your schedule is not the problem. Your environment is not the problem. Your circumstances are not the problem. The problem is that you are not holding yourself to a high enough standard. The problem is that you are allowing yourself to stay comfortable instead of pushing yourself to grow. And the people who win are the ones who take full responsibility for their success. They do not make excuses. They do not blame their circumstances. They take ownership. They hold themselves to a higher standard. And because of that, they succeed. Success is not about motivation. It is about discipline. It is about doing the work when you feel like it and doing the work when you do not. It is about showing up even when you are tired, even when you are discouraged, even when the results are not coming fast enough. Most people are controlled by how they feel. But the people who win are controlled by their commitment to their vision. They have made the decision to succeed no matter what. And that is why they win. Not because they are motivated, but because they are disciplined. The next fundamental you need to master is your environment. Most people overlook this. They think that success is all about hard work and motivation. But the truth is, your environment is shaping you every single day. Whether you realize it or not, your habits, your mindset, your focus, these things are being influenced by the people you surround yourself with, the information you consume, and the spaces you operate in. And if your environment is not aligned with your goals, you will sabotage yourself without even realizing it. Most people live in environments that work against them. They are surrounded by negativity, by distraction, by people who make excuses. They spend time with people who complain, people who settle, people who are comfortable being average. And they wonder why they are not making progress. But the truth is, your environment is stronger than your willpower. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if your environment is constantly pulling you off track, you will fail. That is why most people stay stuck. Not because they are not working hard enough, but because they are surrounded by people and situations that are holding them back. The most successful people in the world are ruthless about their environment. They surround themselves with winners. They eliminate negativity from their life. They protect their focus from distractions. They create spaces that are designed for success. They do not leave their environment to chance. They create it with intention, because they understand that if they are going to perform at a high level, they need to operate in an environment that supports that level of execution. They know that success is not just about working harder. It is about creating the right conditions for success to happen. This means you need to audit your environment. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Are they lifting you up, or are they pulling you down? Are they encouraging you, or are they making excuses? Are they focused on growth, or are they comfortable with mediocrity? The truth is, you will become like the people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with lazy, negative, excuse-making people, you will start to think and act like them. But if you surround yourself with disciplined, focused, ambitious people, you will start to rise to their level. That is why your environment matters. Most people are afraid to change their environment because they do not want to lose relationships. They are afraid to outgrow people. They are afraid to set boundaries. But the truth is, if you want to grow, you have to be willing to outgrow certain people. You have to be willing to walk away from relationships that no longer align with your vision. You have to be willing to protect your energy, even if it means losing certain connections. The people who win are not trying to hold on to relationships that are pulling them off track. They are focused on surrounding themselves with people who challenge them, who push them, who make them better. And because of that, they keep growing while everyone else stays stuck. This means you need to create a physical environment that supports your success. Your surroundings matter more than you realize. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will be cluttered. If you are constantly surrounded by noise and distractions, your focus will suffer. If your home is disorganized, your thinking will be disorganized. The people who succeed at the highest level have learned how to control their space. They keep their environment clean, organized, and optimized for focus. They remove distractions. They create systems that make it easy to stay consistent. They do not leave their environment to chance. They design it with precision. If you want to build better habits, you need to design an environment that makes those habits easy to execute. If you want to eat healthier, you need to remove junk food from your home. If you want to read more, you need to keep books within reach. If you want to work out consistently, you need to make your workout space easily accessible. Most people fail because they make the wrong behaviors easy and the right behaviors difficult. They keep junk food in the house, but they expect to eat healthy. They fill their workspace with distractions, but they expect to stay focused. They keep toxic people in their life, but they expect to stay motivated. That is why they fail, because their environment is working against them. The people who win have designed their environment to support their success. They make the right behaviors easy and the wrong behaviors difficult. They create systems that keep them on track, even when their motivation fades. They understand that success is not about willpower. It is about creating the right structure. They set up their environment in a way that makes success inevitable. And that is why they succeed. Not because they are more disciplined, but because they have created an environment that reinforces their habits. This means you need to take control of the information you consume. Most people spend hours every day consuming negative, useless information. They watch the news, they listen to gossip, and they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, distracted, and uninspired. But the truth is, your mind is being shaped by the information you consume. If you are constantly feeding your mind with negativity, with drama, with distraction, you will create more negativity, drama, and distraction in your life. But if you feed your mind with strength, with strategy, with wisdom, you will create more strength, strategy, and wisdom in your life. Most people are not careful about what they let into their mind. They consume information randomly. They let other people's opinions shape their thinking. They allow the negativity of the world to influence their mood. But the people who win are the ones who are intentional about the information they consume. They read books that make them stronger. They listen to people who challenge them to grow. They eat up any content that reinforces their vision. They do not allow their mind to be shaped by chance. They shape it with intention. And because of that, they stay mentally strong while everyone else is drowning in negativity. This means you need to protect your energy. Most people waste energy on things that do not matter. They engage in pointless arguments. They get distracted by drama. They give their attention to things that drain them. And they wonder why they feel exhausted. But the truth is, your energy is your most valuable resource. If you waste it on things that do not matter, you will have nothing left for the things that do. The people who win are ruthless about protecting their energy. They do not engage in pointless debates. They do not get caught up in other people's drama. They stay focused on what matters, and they ignore the rest. You need to create boundaries around your energy. You need to say no to distractions. You need to walk away from negativity. You need to stop explaining yourself to people who are not trying to understand you. Most people are drained because they are trying to please everyone. They are trying to keep everyone happy. They are trying to explain their vision to people who are not even trying to grow. But the people who win are the ones who know how to walk away. They are not focused on convincing other people. They are focused on executing their plan. They protect their focus, their time, and their energy. And because of that, they keep making progress while everyone else is stuck trying to please people who are not even trying to improve themselves. Success is not just about working hard. It is about creating an environment that supports your work. It is about surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to grow. It is about consuming information that makes you stronger. It is about designing spaces that make it easy to stay disciplined. The people who win are the ones who have mastered their environment. They have created a system that reinforces success. And because of that, they create momentum while everyone else is fighting against the resistance of a negative, distracting environment. The final fundamental you need to master is execution. Most people know what they need to do, but they do not do it. They have the information. They have the strategy. They know exactly what steps to take, but they hesitate. They overthink. They procrastinate. They allow fear and doubt to stop them from taking action. And because of that, they stay stuck. Not because they are not capable, but because they are not executing. The truth is, knowledge without execution is useless. Knowing what to do is not enough. You have to actually do it. You have to take action. You have to implement the plan. And you have to keep executing day after day until success becomes inevitable. Most people get stuck because they are waiting for the perfect moment. They are waiting for the right time to start. They are waiting until they feel ready. They are waiting until they have more confidence, more clarity, more certainty. But the truth is, there is no perfect moment. The conditions will never be perfect. You will never feel completely ready. And if you are waiting for the right time, you will be waiting forever. The people who win are the ones who start before they feel ready. They are the ones who take action, even when the path is not clear. They are the ones who trust themselves enough to figure it out as they go. Success is not about knowing exactly how everything's going to work out. It is about taking the next step. Most people get overwhelmed because they are trying to figure out the entire plan before they start. They are trying to see every step before they take the first one. But that is why they stay stuck, because the path only becomes clear after you start walking it. The people who win are the ones who focus on the next step. They do not need to know how the whole plan will unfold. They just need to know the next move. They trust that once they start moving, the next step will reveal itself. They create clarity through action, not through overthinking. This means you need to stop analyzing and start executing. Most people are addicted to thinking. They read more books. They watch more videos. They listen to more advice. But they never take action. They convince themselves that they need more information before they can start. But that is just an excuse. You already know enough to start. You already know what you need to do. The problem is not knowledge. The problem is execution. The people who win are the ones who stop thinking and start working. They stop analyzing and start executing. They stop planning and start producing. And because of that, they create momentum while everyone else is stuck thinking about the perfect strategy. Most people are not held back by a lack of knowledge. They are held back by fear. They are afraid of failure. They are afraid of looking foolish. They are afraid of making a mistake. And because of that, they hesitate. They overthink. They delay. But the truth is, failure is not the enemy. Inaction is. You are going to fail. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to face setbacks. But that is part of the process. The people who win are the ones who are willing to fail. They are the ones who are willing to look foolish. They are the ones who understand that mistakes are not the end. They are feedback. They adjust. They learn. They keep moving. And that is why they win. Not because they avoid failure, but because they know how to recover from it. You cannot succeed without failure. Most people try to avoid failure. They play it safe. They take the easy path. They make conservative decisions. But that is why they stay stuck. Because the only way to succeed is to push yourself to the edge of failure. The only way to grow is to operate outside of your comfort zone. The only way to get better is to take risks. The people who win are not playing it safe. They are leaning into the discomfort. They are operating at the edge of their capability. They are putting themselves in situations where failure is possible because they understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to success. Most people quit too soon because they misunderstand the process of growth. They think that if they are failing, they are doing something wrong. But the truth is, failure is proof that you are growing. If you're not failing, you're not pushing hard enough. If you're not making mistakes, you are not challenging yourself. If you're not uncomfortable, you are not getting better. Growth happens through resistance. It happens through struggle. It happens through discomfort. And the people who win are the ones who know how to embrace that discomfort instead of running from it. This means you need to stop playing small. Most people shrink their goals because they are afraid of disappointment. They lower their targets because they do not want to fail. But the people who win are the ones who set massive goals. They are the ones who aim high, even if they know they might fail. They understand that the bigger the goal, the bigger the reward. They understand that even if they miss the target, they will still be further ahead than if they had set a smaller goal. The people who win are not trying to protect their ego. They are trying to reach their full potential. And that requires setting goals that scare you. That requires aiming so high that failure is a possibility. Most people stay comfortable because they are afraid of losing. They are afraid of rejection. They are afraid of setbacks. But the people who win are not afraid of losing. They are afraid of not growing. They are afraid of staying the same. They are afraid of looking back and realizing they never reached their full potential. The people who win are more focused on growth than they are on comfort. They are more committed to progress than they are to protecting their ego. They are more focused on taking action than they are on looking good. And because of that, they succeed where everyone else hesitates. This means you need to stop seeking perfection. Most people are stuck because they are trying to get everything right. They do not want to take action until they have the perfect strategy. They do not want to start until they know they will succeed. But that is why they fail, because success is not about perfection. It is about progress. The people who win are the ones who take imperfect action. They are the ones who make mistakes, adjust, and keep moving. They are the ones who are willing to launch before they are ready. And because they are constantly taking action, they are constantly improving. They are constantly learning. They are constantly creating momentum. Most people fail because they spend too much time planning and not enough time executing. They are trying to avoid mistakes. They are trying to avoid discomfort. But the people who win are the ones who take action first and figure it out as they go. They understand that the fastest way to succeed is to start before you are ready. They understand that you cannot think your way to success. You have to work your way to success. You have to execute. You have to produce. You have to create momentum through action. And that is why they win. Not because they had the perfect plan, but because they started when most people were still thinking about starting. Execution is the difference between average and extraordinary. Most people have goals. Most people have ambition. Most people have ideas. But very few people have the courage to execute. Very few people have the consistency to keep working when things get hard. Very few people have the discipline to keep showing up when the results are not showing up yet. And that is why most people stay average, because they are stuck in their heads instead of executing in the real world. The people who win are the ones who take action consistently, aggressively, and fearlessly. They are the ones who understand that success is not about thinking, it is about doing. And that is why they win. At this point, the message should be clear. Success is not complicated, but it is hard. Most people fail not because they are not capable, but because they are not willing to master the fundamentals. They are not willing to focus on the simple, unglamorous habits that create success. They are not willing to stay consistent when the results are not showing up yet. They are not willing to keep working when it feels boring, repetitive, and difficult. But the truth is, that is the price of success, and most people are not willing to pay it. The fundamentals are not exciting, but they work. Waking up early, sticking to a routine, executing your plan, staying focused, blocking out distractions, taking care of your body and mind, staying disciplined even when you are tired, taking action even when you are not motivated. These things are not glamorous, but they are effective. Most people know what they need to do. They just do not do it. They are distracted. They are inconsistent. They are waiting for motivation, and because of that, they stay stuck. But the people who win are the ones who have mastered the basics. They have built a foundation so strong that nothing can break it. Success is not about luck. It is not about talent. It is not about waiting for the perfect opportunity. It is about execution. It is about discipline. It is about showing up every day and doing the work. Whether you feel like it or not, most people quit too soon. They stop working when it gets difficult. They give up when the results are not coming fast enough. But the people who win are the ones who stay locked in. They are the ones who keep working even when nothing seems to be happening. They are the ones who trust the process long enough for the results to start showing up. And that is why they win. Not because they are smarter, not because they are more talented, but because they are more consistent. The truth is, success is not about motivation. It is about standards. It is about deciding that you are going to succeed, no matter what. It is about raising your standards to the point where you no longer allow yourself to make excuses. You no longer allow yourself to skip workouts. You no longer allow yourself to procrastinate. You no longer allow yourself to settle for average. The people who win are the ones who have created non-negotiable standards for themselves. They do not wait to feel motivated. They do not rely on inspiration. They execute because that is the standard they have created for themselves. And that is why they win. You need to stop looking for shortcuts. Most people are chasing quick results. They are looking for the easy way. They are trying to find the strategy that will give them success without the hard work. But the truth is, there is no shortcut. The fundamentals are the fundamentals for a reason, because they work. And if you are not willing to master the basics, you will never succeed. If you are not willing to stay consistent with your habits, you will never reach your potential. If you are not willing to stay focused when things get difficult, you will never win. Success is not about doing more. It is about doing the right things consistently over time. And that is why most people fail, because they are not consistent enough for long enough. You need to stop seeking approval. Most people are controlled by the opinions of others. They hesitate because they are afraid of looking foolish. They lower their goals because they are afraid of judgment. They stop pushing themselves because they do not want to stand out. But the truth is, success requires you to stop caring what other people think. The people who win are not focused on being liked. They are focused on winning. They are not controlled by other people's opinions. They are controlled by their vision, and that is why they win, because they are not trying to fit in, they are trying to stand out. You need to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Most people are stuck because they are waiting. They are waiting for motivation. They are waiting for confidence. They are waiting for the right opportunity. But the truth is, the perfect moment will never come. If you are waiting for the perfect moment, you will be waiting forever. The people who win are the ones who start before they feel ready. They are the ones who take action before they have all the answers. They are the ones who trust themselves enough to figure it out as they go. And that is why they win, because they are not waiting for the right time. They are creating it. You need to stop focusing on outcomes and start focusing on process. Most people are obsessed with results. They want to see progress immediately. They want to know that their work is paying off. But the truth is, results come last. The work comes first. The discipline comes first. The consistency comes first. The people who win are the ones who trust the process long enough for the results to show up. They are the ones who stay committed even when nothing seems to be happening. They are the ones who understand that growth happens beneath the surface before it happens in reality. And that is why they win, because they are patient enough to let the process work. You need to stop avoiding discomfort. Most people stay stuck because they are too focused on comfort. They are not willing to push themselves. They are not willing to operate outside of their comfort zone. They are not willing to endure the discomfort that comes with growth. But the truth is, everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. If you want to grow, you have to push yourself. If you want to succeed, you have to embrace the resistance. If you want to reach your potential, you have to be willing to do the hard things, especially when you do not feel like it. The people who win are the ones who have learned how to thrive under pressure. They are the ones who have trained themselves to operate at a high level, even when things are difficult. And finally, you need to stop relying on motivation. Most people are controlled by how they feel. They work hard when they feel motivated. They slow down when they feel discouraged. They stop working when they feel tired. But the truth is, if you are controlled by your feelings, you will never win. The people who succeed are the ones who have mastered the art of working without motivation. They are the ones who follow through on their plan, even when they do not feel like it. They are the ones who show up every day and execute, even when it is hard. That is why they win, because they are not relying on motivation. They are relying on discipline. At the end of the day, success is a decision. You can either choose to stay comfortable or you can choose to grow. You can either choose to make excuses or you can choose to execute. You can either choose to let fear control you or you can choose to take action in spite of fear. The people who win are not the most talented. They are not the luckiest. They are not the smartest. They are the ones who made the decision to succeed and backed it up with consistent action. They are the ones who mastered the fundamentals. They are the ones who stayed disciplined. They are the ones who stayed consistent. And because of that, they won. You already have everything you need to succeed. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you are willing to stay disciplined long enough to reach your full potential. The fundamentals are simple, but they are not easy. Most people are not willing to pay the price. But if you are willing to stay consistent, if you are willing to stay disciplined, if you are willing to master the basics, you will win. Not because you got lucky, not because you were more talented, but because you were willing to do the work when most people were not. And that is the difference.